Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. We are here on a Tuesday. I told you guys Friday that we wouldn't be having a show Monday because of the holiday, so thank you guys for being patient with us. Our local talent, Captain McFarland, is back, and he decided to hound me today to give you guys a show since we did do one Monday. So he wanted to make it up to you guys for not being here, and here we are. So thank you so much for joining us. Glad to see everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial weekend. Those of you who worked yesterday, thank you so much for all that you guys did and make the efforts to have an easy holiday. So thank you so much for that. Today we're going to talk a little bit about event security, some kind of things to keep an eye on, what you should expect, and things of that nature. And then we've actually got a funny story about event security that we wanted to talk a little bit about and just kind of enjoy the moment of it for a good way of saying it.
share some stories.
So when it comes to the big thing there with event security or things to look out for, things that you should and shouldn't be doing, when it comes to event security or holiday security, a big thing is being on your toes, making sure that you're aware of the increased number of people in your area, whether it be for a holiday or for an event like a wedding or, what say you for anything else, and understanding that some of the people that are there are in a heightened state because they're there for fun. And so they might be a little bit easier to push over the edge or easier to get agitated because their whole family's there or whatever the case may be. That
Drunk.
Intoxicated. Or any kind of intoxication, really, because as it comes back, more and more of that's going to show up. So just keeping your head on a swivel and being aware of your surroundings and the people there and the predicament that might be in or the environment that you're in is a big one there.
Yeah, the experience is definitely, preferred for a position like that. If you're new to security, you probably want to get some more experience before you do work a big event because there's a like you said, there's more people and usually. Like if let's say you're doing like a wedding, there's a lot of people there, a lot of moving parts, a lot of stress. People make mistakes, and it can heighten their. It can take. I don't know exactly how you worded it, but it can take somebody that normally would react fine to not react fine because it's ruining their big day, stuff like that, and so you have to have good verbal judo and good de-escalation tactics because something will go wrong.
Always.
It usually does.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as events go, you usually want somebody that's had
a little of experience.
Yeah, just more years under the belt.
Yeah.
It just helps. You can adapt better the more you know how to do, what you're doing. It's like I've probably said it on the show before, like the guy that's in the excavator that's just barely touching stuff and the thing's throwing
up
dirt
and, down,
and scooping
waving.
and he's spinning around. That's because he's had 20,000 hours in that seat, rather than the guy that's
had 5.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's just a reason for that. If that's something you guys are interested in, we do do a lot of events. So let us know. Reach out
From top to bottom on those, and we got all kinds. Some do's and don'ts, some things to kind of keep an eye on is some of the events I've run across where they'll offer you food or drink, whatever the case is. A big don't for me is taking that. Me personally, when I'm there for an event, when I know I'm going to an event like that, I always eat before, and then I always bring a container full of water. I can, I'll fill up water there or something from the water fountain or from a kitchen if it's available. But
politely decline.
Yeah, a big thing for me is not eating the food that's provided because I'm not there to eat food. I'm there for a purpose. And if I'm sitting in the back at a 4-hour event and I'm spending 30 minutes eating, then that's 30 minutes that something might pop off or whatever the case may be. And I just don't, me personally, I don't think it's something that I should be doing. So I don't do it. And I think it's a big don't when it comes to that type of thing going on.
Unless we're doing the football games. There's like the 2-hour waiting period.
There are certain events where you get there an hour and a half, 2 hours before, and if they've got food prepped or something, that kind of washes the line a little bit for me. But at the same time, if we're there an hour and 45 minutes before the game starts and they're already like, hey, do you want a hot dog? Yeah, sure. We're the only 12 people here, so
yeah. No, it's know your optics, and that's a good practice. Is just know how to read the room, and usually if you can read the room, you're probably experienced enough to do an event. So
absolutely,
yeah, just don't be on your phone. It's a big no-no. That goes for pretty much any post.
I was gonna say a big do is to stay off your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, same thing. That takes away from the ability of what you're doing and what the client's expecting you to do. And if you're standing there at the front door, playing on your phone, watching Netflix or checking Facebook or Snapchat, whatever it is, then the client's gonna be, they're gonna look at you do that and they're like, "Why am I paying you to be here?"
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, especially when someone's able to take a picture of an officer. That picture is and it could be just a quick check of the phone, but the picture makes it look like you're just buried into it.
Yep.
So just make sure you guys are paying attention out there.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. Billy, Beatty, thank you so much. Suzanne, good to see you there. Diego, welcome. Glad to see you back, buddy.
Hello.
So when it comes to that as well, you got other things you got to look out for. And we were talking about that earlier with being in your environment, being aware of that. Take the type of event that you're doing and take that into account, whether it be a wedding, a bar mitzvah, a quinceañera, a parade, whatever that could be. Take that event into consideration to be what's around you. So I've done weddings in the past. I've done a ton of weddings. And most weddings, there's alcohol. So I know I'm going to have to deal with at least one family member who's drunk and who either wants to start a fight or who's rowdy and stuff like that. And take that in consideration when you're dealing with people, Don't let it affect you because of that. Other things to keep a lookout for are, is it a private event where it's in a building and it's only supposed to be the family, or is it a public event where it's at a park and they're expecting hundreds of people? Take that into consideration. If you're at a public park and you've got someone hanging out that's not part of the event, keep in mind you're in public versus a closed off building where it's only family. Take that into consideration when you're dealing with those things, because it could be a little, it can strain somebody. If you're in a private event in a building and someone random walks in and he's hanging out with everybody, you might get the father of the bride going, "Hey, I don't know who that is."
Right.
And they need to leave. My first wedding.
It's just their drunk uncle.
Yeah. My first wedding I did was a friend of the company. And funny enough about it is I walk in and everyone else, I look completely separate from everybody else. Everybody else is dressed nicely and like tie, like suits dressed up. And I walk in a polo, and I had two people from the wedding walk up and they go, "We don't know you.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be here." I go, "I worked for the venue." And they go, "Oh, that makes so much more sense." And I'm like, so, keeping that in mind, look at the attire, look at
one more table or one more plate at the table I got to pay for.
Right. Take that stuff in, because that's going to really affect everything going on with it.
The one I was looking for is the one about the event. The details about the event. Do you have that on there?
I do. Okay. Speaking of events.
Yeah, we've got one coming up. Check your emails. It's for Titan employees to come. I will be manning the grill, so I'll be throwing down on the grill with my grill skills. Make sure, I believe Brian wants you to RSVP, so that way we kind of have a head count. So please let us know as soon as you know, and then he's got some details.
So on Friday we mentioned it before, but I didn't have all the details, and Sergeant Kavist had sent me the details just as the show ended. They showed up in my inbox. So, but here are some of the details. It's on the 17th. It starts at 11 a.m. I'm not going to make it public because if you're supposed to be there, you'll have an email about it. So keep an eye on your emails if you don't already have it. There's going to be food, drinks, music, and games. There's a play area for the kids, and apparently
it's family friendly.
A dog park as well.
Oh, nice.
Titan employees, significant others, and immediate family can come, kids and all that. You should have the email invite for it as well. If you don't have an invite, let us know and we'll make sure you get one. And then the big thing there is Captain McFarland is graciously donating his cooking skills. Yep. So that is always going to be nice. If you don't like the food,
then too bad. I think it's just going to be cheeseburgers, and hot dogs or brats. I'm not sure.
Suzanne says, McFarland, my son says hi.
Hello, Suzanne's son. Hope everything's going well.
Billy says you haven't gotten the email for the last two events. All right, I'll get with Brian and make sure you get that email, Billy.
Yeah, make sure your email's up to date too. So,
Diego, you should come back for the event. We'd love to have you back for that.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but I think we'll probably go through with it either way. Hopefully there's...
All right, so we got a good one here. Today I got hired for my first armed security job. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. And congratulations on getting hired for your first armed security job.
Make sure your weapon's clean.
The big thing there
Hollow
is
points.
pay attention to your training courses, making sure that you're staying well within what you're supposed to be doing. Follow
Yeah.
any SOP or post orders that your job has. Making sure you stay within the bounds of what you're allowed to do. on
Know
the
your
rules and
local
regulations.
laws.
Know your local laws
that's
is a
on you.
big one.
It's on you to learn that stuff. So if it's here, it's Title 17, but depending on where this person is. Carrying a gun for a living is a big responsibility, so it needs to be treated as such. And
Yes.
just make sure that you're being responsible.
The big thing there is kind of just like what we're talking about with this event security. Is the big thing when it comes to starting your first armed security job. Pay attention to the rules. Do what you're supposed to. Know your local laws. Those are the big ones. I always tell people when it comes to security, and this is big just in general, but treat people the way you'd expect to be treated. If you were at an event and a security officer walked up to you, how would you expect them to talk to you?
Yep.
How would you want them to treat you? You know, as long as you do that, you're following the local laws, you're following what your SOPs are supposed to be doing, your post orders. You know, that's the gimmick of it. That's the best way to get it done. You're
Sure
in
is.
GA. Ooh, nice.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Laws are going to be different from state to state.
Yes.
So, and from city to city, depending on what your job entails or what you're doing. So you want to know that stuff. But congratulations. Make sure carry yourself with
A big thing to remember too is when you throw the uniform on, whether it be security, EMS, law enforcement, whatever it is, when you throw that uniform on, you no longer represent yourself as an individual. You're representing the company. So make sure you're
or
representing
department. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure or department or whatever. Make sure you're representing them with the best light. That's what we're here for. Is to make our communities a better place.
Yes. Yep. It's that saying. The name on your name tag is your family. The name on uniform is your work, and represent them both well.
Yes.
I butchered that, but that's close enough.
You got close enough.
Close enough. There might have been like a third part. So, what else is there?
I say other than
Weather?
that, when it comes to event stuff and everything, that's kind of really all. We did have a funny story that I wanted to
Oh, that's
bring
right. I
up
forgot about the stores.
that I think it was pretty funny. When it comes to working events or security in general, you'll always run across. We generally see people on their worst days. Every now and then, you'll get them on their best days, and even rarer, I think at least, you'll come across them when they're in the in between, when they're having a moderately okay, but a moderately not okay, and they think they can get away with something that not everybody they shouldn't. My funny story that I think is, and Captain McFarland knows this one because he was part of it. He participated in some of this.
I was at the event. I just didn't actually see
Yeah.
it happen.
During this event, it was a parade. Individual wanted to get a better vantage point of what was going on, so he had gotten a ladder and he had climbed to a place that he was not supposed to be, and he fell out of a tree and off a bridge. And
I forgot about the bridge part. Yeah.
he stood up. He fell out of the tree, and then as he stood up, he leaned backwards to grab his footing, and he fell off of the bridge. He did not fall far enough to hurt himself. Thank goodness, there was no injuries out of this, but it was funny nonetheless, in my opinion, because you doing something stupid, and you got it caused a stupid consequence.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but it's like my friends. I always laugh at my friends when they get hurt. I make sure they're okay
Dude,
first.
that was so funny the other day when you
Bringing up my toe.
hit your toe again and just went to
It's
a knee.
It's the same thing.
Just
You
went
know?
to one knee.
Make
He
sure
was
they're okay.
T-boning.
He's okay. Now laugh at him. And it's the same thing here. Everybody made sure that the individual was fine. He was fine.
that
he
image in my head cracks me
he
up.
was embarrassed. He was red in the face, and he got a ticket.
Pride,
for-
his pride got hurt more
Yeah.
than his body. That exact same event, there was a guy
Billy,
selling.
you would be correct on that, Billy.
There's a guy selling, basically, the ability to go up this ladder and take pictures of everybody that was there. And we found out about it, and it was on our client's property. So if somebody were to fall, they could sue. And me and two of the KCPD sergeants are sitting there, and we're like, how do we go about getting this guy to take his ladder? Because he just had a ladder chained to a pole, and it was sketchy.
Good way to
say
make
the
sure it
least.
didn't get stolen.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, yeah, that, and it was to help hold it against the pole, I think. But, you know, it was just aimlessly chain wrapped around ladder and pole, no real structure to it. Just let's see how this works. And we weren't going to find out. So we go out there and ended up getting booed by the crowd because we took the ladder down. But we ended up coming up with the guy didn't have a business license, so he couldn't, he didn't
do it anyway.
sell it. So yeah, that was our approach rather than just, hey, take your ladder down, because the guy's like, he was making, there was a line of people paying in cash. Like I was probably going to charge $5 or something, and people would go up, take a couple of pictures, and it was a cool vantage point of. It was the Chiefs parade, and so it was and this was the first one, not the most recent, but yeah, we ended up being the bad guys and had to take down the ladder. But it was I don't really have a lot of funny stories.
I kind of assimilate something like that to like the people with the parking lots, like they'll use their yards for those who live next to like the arenas and stuff like that, and they know that parking is just going to be an absolute mitigated disaster.
Yeah,
then they've got a big old grass yard, and they'll be like, yeah, we'll just let people park in here for $20.
Yep.
And then you'll see somebody who has, 2 people live in the house. They've got 2 cars that are parked in their garage, and they got 40 cars on their parking lot or their parking area.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just made
a lot of cash.
I made $2,000 just letting people park here. And I'm like, okay, well,
That's what it is.
If it works, it works. You just ruin your yard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. People get creative.
Oh yeah.
People get creative. But other than that, yeah, it's not too terribly hot. It's mid 80s.
That rain this morning.
I had a little drizzling on the way in.
I caught it pretty good on the way in. I was like, I guess I should have brought my jacket. And by the time I got here, it had almost stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. It hit me in the middle of the ride, but when I actually had to get out,
it was over.
It was over, yeah. So I didn't have to get soaked. There's been a few times where you get here and it's just pounding. I was like, well, it's not going to get any better, so here we go. So yeah,
better run now.
80s.
I got 87. Oh my goodness. 87, 88, 85, 85, and 91 on Sunday.
I will be in a different state Sunday.
91?
Oh, yeah. I won't be here Friday.
Ugh. Again?
Yeah, got a family.
You're killing me. I better just replace you.
Maybe.
Taking application. No, I'm kidding. I'm waiting for like all of them to pop up. Be like, oh, I'm applying for it.
It's fun, but blabbing all the time. It is what. No, it's good. We enjoy getting to chat with you guys. The people need their news.
I like making fun of you.
People need their news. Yeah.
I like
making fun of myself.
I like making fun of Irish when he's here. It's
fun. Those are fun too. Or Brian.
Let's see.
You're supposed to join us today, but I ended up not being able to.
Let's see. The last event I did, my blood sugar dropped crazy low, and my parents had to come get me. That's something you got to be careful of. Again, that goes to being prepared. Diego. You got to take care of yourself before and after the event. Drink lots of water. Make sure your food intake's good. When it comes to like hydration with those events and stuff like that, always prepare for it the day before. If you know you're going to be standing out at the sun, we do ones for I wouldn't call them parades, but it's the first. I think they're called First Fridays.
Yeah.
And it's they've got food trucks that come out, and they've got an art show that's there, and a few other small things like that. And it's outside the whole time. When I do those, I prep the day before. I make sure I'm hydrated, and I make sure I'm drinking and eating enough food and water, and making sure I have all that stuff in, because I know that when I'm there, I'm probably not going to get the chance.
Yep.
And I want to stay up and stuff like that, and I don't want to, be dehydrated for an event like that when you're standing outside in 85-degree weather with the sun beating on you, and because the sun's out until 8 p.m. now.
Yeah, that's not
and
good.
That whole time you're at that event, you're just under the sun. So make sure you take care of yourself. You've got to stay hydrated and make sure you eat enough food. Let's see. Remember the event when I was co-driver with you? Everyone got soaked. Billy, I don't remember that event. I'm trying to think, Billy, but I don't remember that. Diego says I'll take a spot. There's one of them. Huh?
What was that noise?
I couldn't hear anything. The advantage of being deaf.
Yep.
But yeah, Billy, I don't remember that event. You'll have to give me some reminder. Diego, I know you would take a spot in a heartbeat. You would take a spot. I got like 5 people that are actively trying to get him removed from the program so they can take a spot.
Nope. I'm one of the founders.
The Orscheln's event. Yes, I remember now. I remember that one now. We used to do an event. We used to do an event. It's a few hours north of here in Missouri, and we did it, I don't know, 5 or 6 years in a row, just before COVID.
I've heard all about it. I just
Yeah.
never been.
And one of the ones she's talking about, it was they'd called for a little, like a light rain, and so we're like, oh, okay, it'll be fine. And I think it was like 30 minutes into everything had started, all the prep work and everything. You could see the clouds rolling in, and we're like, that looks like a little more than light rain.
Yeah.
And we're like, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And the event kept going, and then it started, and like 30 minutes into it, 45 minutes into it, it's like it starts to rain. It goes from a very light rain to a torrential downpour, like that. And
I remember hearing about that.
everybody,
Got soaked.
guests, us, the musicians stopped. It was everybody got drenched. It was hilarious. It was painful to deal with at the time.
Well,
Say other than that, I was the first. Diego, you were the first to try and take his spot, so you are first in line.
it's fair. Fair. If I get hit by a pie truck, it's yours.
But as I say,
No
other
such
on
luck.
that, I don't think I have anything.
No?
No,
No.
I say
I gotta go fix my mower.
you're gold plated.
Yes. Yeah, my mower, one of the pulleys, the belt broke, which I was fine with, and then looking at how to replace it, like one of my pulleys, like the wheel that the belt goes on, just shaved off in the center. Yeah, so I gotta wait for that part.
painful.
So if anybody knows any local mowing companies that would do like a one-time mow, send them my way. It's actually, I would really appreciate that. So it saves me from having to mow. It's super.
Yes, Billy, they did do the full event. It rained for a while. I think it rained what was it? I think the full event almost. But other than that, Diego, it was good having you, man. Glad to stop by. We'll hope to see you on the next one.
Yeah.
We will. We're going to call it now, and we will catch you guys. At least I will on Friday on the next live. But until then, thank you guys so much for everything you do. Thank you for all the hard work on the holidays, the regular days, and making sure everything goes smoothly. So that way we have the ability to do stuff like this and continue to do stuff like this. So thank you for everything. If you guys have any videos you want us to react to, let me know. Send those to me. If you have any videos you want us to do a breakdown of, same thing. Let me know. Send them to me. Give me those, and we'll get them reviewed. But until the next time, guys, we appreciate it so much. We wish you guys to enjoy the rest of your week, and I will catch you guys on the next one on Friday.
Take
Thanks.
care, guys. See you Monday.
Bye.